We are on our way to Ripley, West Virginia, which is the beginning of Sam Carrero's TransAmerica Trail. We've been staging in Minnesota. Carrie and I drove our camper up. We've been living in Minnesota in that as we've been doing the final preparations on the bikes and our gear. So we staged at my sister's place in Minnesota, and her husband's the one that's traveling with me, that's Jack. It's a 2-day trip from Minnesota over to West Virginia, but our staging, if you would call it that, has been much longer. It's been about 18 months to 2 years since we first learned of the trail, and about 15 minutes later we decided to ride it, and we've been planning it ever since. And the reason we started early is we had to first select the bikes and make sure we can get them in time. We had supply issues. This is just after COVID, or towards the end of it, and it took several months for the bikes to arrive. Jack, how long exactly did it take yours to get here?
We talked about it. I ordered mine on the way to a NASCAR event in April. So I ordered it middle of April, and then it finally arrived the day before Thanksgiving. So it took a little while before I could get it. So shout out to Moon Motorsports in Monticello, Minnesota. They were the ones that were able to acquire the bike for me. Not many places were taking orders for the bike. It was first come, first serve when they came in. They were willing to work with me and was able to put some money down and reserve one of the bikes coming in. So like I said, shout out to them. And here we are, somewhere between 1.5 to 2 years of planning, and we are about 4 hours away from our start point in West Virginia. Good trip.
And I want to give a big thank you to CJ and his group at Brothers Motorsports in Baxter, Minnesota. That's where I picked up the KTM that I'm riding on. Great group there. Wonderful team. Can't say enough. We are excited to be nearing the start, and as it would be, that looks like it's going to be a rainy day to start with, which is perfect. We chose a rainy day for our last checkout trip earlier or last month in Minnesota, and so we're accustomed to rain, I guess, for sure. We know our rain gear works. So tomorrow. Carrie is especially happy today because we are back in Ben's Pretzel country. Carrie fell in love with Ben's Pretzels at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis a couple years ago when we were traveling to all the Supercross races in the 21 season and the 22 season. So each time we came through Indianapolis, she was looking for pretzels. Well, we're back in that territory today, and pretzel time. And Enzo would like to have a bite of the pretzel too. Hey, Enzo.
Hi, Buggy. Yeah.
Well, we've arrived in Ripley.
Yes. We're about 8 blocks from the start of the TransAmerica Trail.
And we've learned that Ripley is the place in 1897 where they had the last public hanging.
Yeah.
And immediately thereafter, the legislature said, nah, no more public executions.
Yeah.
The other fun fact, in Ripley, they claim to have the biggest biggest small town 4th of July celebration in the country. And in 2002, the then president, George W. Bush, came and gave a speech on the 4th of July. Well, everything rode real well. Everything came through fine. We didn't even get much rain on the way here. Just a couple little sprinkles on the trip. So we'll be parked here tonight. Tomorrow we'll get up and unload and get set up for the trip. But pretty well we're loaded. We just have to get our gear on and check our bikes over. And I think think we're good to go. Pick up some fuel, we'll be on our way. That's tomorrow. So if you're ever in Ripley, West Virginia, please check out McCoy's Inn. Fabulous place to stay, clean and comfortable, and a great staff. This morning when we left the hotel where we were last night, we met our first friends on the trail. They were some motorcyclists out of Chicago. They were on their way home, about a day out from home. They had spent 10 days traveling down the southern states, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and they were had a great chat with them, and they left us a nice photo I'll share with you next. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you on the trail.